I got my start, I would have to go back actually before I even got my start in the food industry. And so I was a musician based in Flint for about 15 years. And after doing that and kind of getting burnt out, I was in a really fortunate position in my life to where I was able to start traveling. Through all these travels and experiences, one of the things that was really common throughout them all was just this profound power of food and just how it was able to transcend, culture, language, all different kinds of things. And so I found myself in a lot of really amazing, life-changing situations, all brought in by being at the table, surrounding food. I just saw the path and decided on a whim to buy a food truck. Had no experience whatsoever, and just kind of armed with my mom's recipes, I started Wraps and Rolls, which was my first Vietnamese food truck that I ran at the farmer's market. That did so well that I ended up getting the spot inside the farmer's market called Mamung. After I opened Mamung in the farmer's market, I just started naturally just kind of becoming friends with the whole chef community here. I'll never forget it. I'd be sitting around with everybody and they would just go around in circles about how they hated working at this place or they hated working for this person. And it was just sharing all these stories, and I'm just listening and just really, bewildered by how negative and toxic everything sounded. And so I remember at one point I just kind of asked everybody, I was like, why do you guys do this? It sounds so horrible and awful. And they all just kind of laughed it off. And they're just that's just how it is. It's not how it has to be. And I think pretty much right then and there, I made a promise to myself that I would never operate or run a business like that. That I would actually run a business that was, that offered care and compassion and dignity to the workforce and the employees. So I decided to leverage my infrastructure with Mamung, with the farmers market, and some relationships that I had with Kettering University and Good Beans Cafe, and we started up a pop-up series, and it was a huge success. The whole community came out, each one sold out, and it was just really, really amazing. And so, I started getting hit up by a bunch of people that, saw that attended the pop-ups and everything, and just were struck with this inspiration. And, they wanted to get into the food industry as well, but they didn't know how. So that was kind of the origins, I guess, of Flint Social Club and, why we do what we do. The 100K Ideas team, they saw what I was doing on the community level. And so they reached out to me, and they've always been very encouraging, especially with all the programs and things that they offer. And so, they convinced me to do a pitch competition, which I did.
How many of you wish that there were more options for a nice dinner downtown outside of the 5 restaurants that currently exist there?
Didn't place, which was fine, but it kind of got me into the start of getting into the whole 100K infrastructure, doing all the market research and everything. It's really, for the first time, because Flint Social Club was just so grassroots and DIY. I think through that process, I was able to actually figure out, a story and a way to actually articulate what it was that we were actually doing. And last year, we officially became a 501c3. Innovation in the community, it's really interesting, particularly in Flint. It really informs what we do. We have our ear to the ground. We kind of shape shift each season according to the needs of the community. And so where we started off with with pop-ups and taking on individual vendors to mentor and put on dinners before, we just saw year after year just how much more people were out there that wanted to get their feet wet and just try it out kind of thing. And so in response to that, then we started to do just kind of lower commitment kind of programming. And so that's how the night market started. And so that's something to where, you can just come out and serve for a single event on a weekend, as opposed to putting in all this time, taking off work and everything. And so, what we do is we just try to provide the platforms of support. And even if we can't do it, we're always connecting because there's so many other amazing programs and organizations here that help out people as well. So if you are interested in food is by far our biggest area of expertise. We're your people, we're your organization. So you can find us through, our Facebook is how we kind of get out there into the world. We're actually starting up with all of our kind of, other social media accounts and websites and things as well. But you can also email at us at flintsocialclub@gmail.com as well. I would say that, yes, we are very much food focused, but we also see this huge gap and need in the community to provide more services and support to the Black and Brown communities and women as well. And so we really try to tailor our services to be as inclusive as possible. So I think for us, it made us operate more as a community organization, as opposed to just in a silo where we're just fixed on this one problem, this one solution. We can actually grow with the community as our services grow. My advice for any startup entrepreneurs is, just get to know the community. I think what people see is the successes a lot, because that's kind of what bubbles up out of everything. And it can be intimidating. challenging, but at the end of the day, just remember that I was in your position at one point, and I had no idea what I was doing. And this whole journey has been trial by fire. And I've gotten this far because of the strength of the relationships with the community. Everybody in Flint is so supportive. And so, yeah, don't ever think that you're alone, and just get out there and just, network and talk to as many people as possible. The biggest value that I've gained and continue to gain from my relationship with 100K is really just the relationships there. I've been through a number of the programs and services and kind of competitions that 100K offers. And I think through each one of those, I've gotten to know the 100K community a lot more. So that comes from not only just the team members that offer all these different areas of expertise, but then also the community members that the 100K outreach is to. And so, it's a really beautiful hub of innovation and small business in Flint. And it's something where, if you go there, you can rub elbows with and get a nice cross shot of entrepreneurial community.